Many of you have likely heard of I Feel Fantastic. It featured Tara the android, a robot that looked extremely creepy, to say the least. It was mannequin-like, with pale skin and short blonde hair. The old sweater really didn't help in the creepiness department either. Tara appeared tall and lanky, but was actually only 5 foot 4 inches tall. The video I Feel Fantastic was a music video, and it featured Tara moving its head and limbs while singing a disturbing song. It would then suddenly change frame to Tara in a black outfit with her palms on the floor, but the singing had then stopped. And then suddenly, to a video filmed outside. I was half expecting her to be out there, in the bushes, but I can't see anything. Tara was a robot created by John L. Bergeron, who has been deceased since 2005. Rumors quickly rose that John was a murderer and made the mannequin as a replica of a real woman named Tara. He supposedly murdered this woman named Tara because she didn't live up to his perfect standards. And after the murder, he used Tara's clothes and other belongings to make Tara the android. These rumors were quickly shut down and proven to be false. However, that doesn't deny it's still insanely creepy. John dressed the mannequin in many different outfits too, the creepiest of them all being an all-black outfit, followed by short black hair and dark lipstick. Tara could be seen in this outfit in the most creepy positions. But this wasn't all. He dressed her in other concerning ways too, this time with long blonde hair and a sleeveless top showing its long skinny arms. I preferred when it had that creepy old-ass sweater on, honestly. This video will surely creep you out. We're going all the way back to 1943 to a prisoner of war camp in Germany. Mr. Fritz is a ventriloquist doll that was used to entertain Allied prisoners of war during World War II between 1943 to 1945. His creator, an American prisoner of war, was shot along with 10 other men while on forced labor duty on a nearby farm 2 weeks before the camp was liberated in January 1945. Mr. Fritz was taken back to the United States by fellow prisoners and given to the dead soldiers' family as a reminder of their son's ability to raise morale even in the worst conditions. Since then, Mr. Fritz has been passed from collector to collector, and due to his restless nature, Mr. Fritz does not stay in any collection for very long. This video footage was taken in 2019. The owner at the time would find Mr. Fritz's door open most mornings, even though he was certain he closed the door the previous night. Concerned and curious, the owner set up a camera to record through the night. This is what he captured. The door suddenly opens, and why this happened he had no clue, and the next night he captured something terrifying. The door suddenly opened once again, but this time, Mr. Fritz's eyes opened suddenly too. This wasn't like the last night. The door was pushed even further open. Since seeing this footage, He promptly sold Mr. Fritz and has never looked back. This video, titled Walk in the Park, is an extremely creepy video. The channel Meet Sleep has posted a variety of strange, concerning, and mysterious content. We'll go more into detail on that in another video. But first, let's watch Walk in the Park. It starts with them recording a stranger from afar. It goes on for quite a while, and it's pretty creepy. But things get a whole lot weirder when they zoom out the camera. We can then see what appears to be a crime scene. This video was posted in 2019. It has no description, and there's no clear reason for why they uploaded this. What can be seen is a crime scene, with what appears to be a deceased person's body underneath the cloth. Police can be seen surrounding the body as if they're discussing what may have happened. Then, suddenly at 3 minutes 20 seconds into the video, it cuts to a fast-moving, grainy TV screen. What's most concerning is the lack of information. Who is posting these videos? And why are they posting them? There's a lot of speculation online, but I couldn't find definitive answers to those questions. This one really creeped me out, and it was created to portray some pretty depressing thoughts. The video's creator wanted it to convey that there is nothing on the other side of death. No heaven, no hell, just nothing. It's set in a dining room. Flames are burning in the background, and the center of the shot shows this freaky-looking figure. As the camera pans out, she stays there for a while, but around the 50-second mark, she comes back to tell us something.
There is nothing.
Then, just like that, she closes her eyes and goes back to sleep.
My name's Aron Ralston. My parents are Donna and Larry Ralston of Englewood, Colorado. Whoever finds this, please make an attempt to get it to them.
This video has an extremely disturbing backstory. Aron Ralston, the man in this video footage, is an American mountaineer. In April 2003, he decided to visit Blue John Canyon in Utah, USA. He was canyoneering alone when suddenly, a boulder dislodged and crushed his right arm. He was then stuck in between rocks, fully alive, but unable to escape. He was far out there. It's extremely unlikely anyone would come across him. So this put Aron in an extreme situation. What can he do when his arm is lodged underneath a huge boulder? This is the video he made, assuming he would likely die by the time someone found him. However, he survived for days, drinking the little rainwater that fell through the canyons. And after 5 days, he couldn't survive any longer. He had to escape. I mean, his hand was literally decaying while it was still attached to his body.
I stuck the knife down in and at my thumb at that spot, and it slid in like I was sliding it into a pat of warm butter, and it went in. I couldn't feel it, of course, but it went in about a ½ inch, and then this hissing sound of gas the decomposition gases releasing from inside my arm, it appalled me. It was a gruesome concept that my hand was decaying while still attached to my body.
So his only option? To cut off his arm, keeping him stuck in place. Amazingly, against all odds, cutting his arm off saved his life. He described this event in a later video after his escape.
It came to me, this epiphany that I could break the bones, because my arm was caught so tightly, and this pow sound went kind of echoing through the canyon. And with the smaller blade, then I actually started the amputation. The smaller one was still a little more sharp.
He chillingly describes in detail having to cut his arm off. Truly an unbelievable situation. This is what his arm looks like today. A fun fact for you, this was actually made into a movie called 127 Hours. It is one of my favorite movies. This video is by far one of the strangest videos I've ever seen. The video is titled, "Who is Behind Our Face?" and it captures Olivier de Sagazan creating a disturbing art piece. In this video, he attempted to disfigure himself by covering himself in paint and sticking things to his face. In his own words, disfigurement in art is a way for us to escape from normopathy and become aware of the strangeness of our body and the world it inhabits.
Cherche le là-dedans, là, comme ça. Entre tout ça, tout ce là, il doit être là comme ça.
While we know its origin and why it was created, this is still one of the creepiest art pieces YouTube has ever seen. Many people were shocked and angry after watching this, but you haven't seen anything yet. Just as I was about to move on to the next video, I checked the link in the video's description. And oh boy, I was not ready for that. One of the featured videos on the site's homepage shows Olivier de Sagazan in an operating room performing some form of dissection. Of course, I must blur this. YouTube wouldn't allow this content to be shown, but it truly is disturbing. Some parts show the patient lying bare on the operating room table. I wouldn't recommend watching that video. This video is both creepy and inspiring. Usually those two never go together, but this truly is a shocking story. In 1999, 3 British men attempted to climb Mountain McKinley in Alaska. It's 22,000 feet and the highest mountain in North America. So as you can imagine, it's an unbelievable challenge. During their climb, the men were caught in a blizzard, and this is where they almost lost their lives. They suffered greatly with hypothermia, and they had surreal injuries, such as severe frostbite. Steve Bull had the most shocking visual injuries, such as severe frostbite to his nose. His hands were also severely affected and were completely black. I'm amazed at how calm he is about the whole situation.
When we broke out onto the summit plateau, we decided that the wind was too strong in gusts, that if we tried to get on the summit, we stood a chance of being blown off. So we then came across a crevasse ice hole, and we decided to take shelter there.
Steve was extremely close to death and was stuck in the harsh conditions for 28 hours before being saved by a rescue crew by helicopter. His friends also suffered from frostbite, but their injuries were nowhere near as severe. That said, his friend Nigel Vardy did have severe frostbite affecting his fingertips and his face.
Steve was cold, and we could see that he was going hypothermic. So a decision that Tony and myself made was the best thing we can do is hug Steve and try and keep him warm.
He was sort of going sort of delirious in a way, and it was very much a case that he was going in and out of consciousness.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find out more information about how Steve and his friends are doing today. Let's hope they recovered the best they could. This video, titled Sudden Onset, is unbelievably creepy. It tells a story of a mother that finds her 6-year-old son screaming, going delirious. It shows many pictures of her supposed children with the faces blackened out.
It seems like a nightmare. You're the parent of a 6-year-old boy. He's friendly and outgoing and active. Recently he's been sick with strep throat, but in the last couple of days he's been feeling better. Until you wake up early in the morning to the sound of him screaming, and you can't do anything to calm him down.
Then the screen suddenly goes black for a while, before returning to pictures of the house bathroom, where she goes into detail about the children playing Bloody Mary and the sad situation that followed.
The boy was injured at a sleepover party in the bathroom, where the children were playing Bloody Mary in the mirror, one at a time. The others held the door shut. He panicked and fell back into the tub, banging his head hard off the tap. He was found unconscious and didn't wake up until the next day. But when he did, he couldn't stand to be around any reflective surface.
The video ends with her voice trembling before she abruptly goes quiet, and all that can be heard are these strange sounds. Now this one truly is disturbing. It's the 10th of June 1999 in Bellingham, USA. Residents woke up to a sunny day just like any other. At 4:30 p.m., Bellingham's 911 center starts receiving an unusually high number of calls, reporting a strong odor of gasoline. The smell is coming from a wooded area, Watcombe Park. Firefighters arrived at Watcombe Park and were astounded. There was a river of gasoline. In the midst of authorities trying to evacuate everyone from the surrounding area, suddenly the gas from the river ignites and causes a huge explosion. A huge, thick, black cloud of smoke emerges. The call center received hundreds of calls immediately.
911, there's a big smoke. The sky is smoke. Okay, here, hold on. Below, and yes, I'd like to report an explosion. Okay. This is Alabama Hill. 911.
There's been an explosion. Hello, have you heard about the fire on Alabama Hill?
Yes, we have.
My power just went off and there was a big boom outside.
Right, we are on scene.
This is where things get dark. A 10-year-old boy named Wade King and his friend Stephen Charvis were last seen heading towards Watcombe Park. The boys were severely burned. They attempted to escape, climbing up a giant hill, and they soon made it to the front yard of their house, and this is where Wade's father discovers them.
Well, his hair was all burned off. His face was stretched. I remember looking at their hands, and the skin was virtually dripping off their fingertips.
Their injuries were unfathomable. Wade's father told his wife, Wade's mother, "Don't look at him." Over 90% of their bodies were burned. The boys were still lucid and speaking fluently. So despite their severe visual injuries, the parents didn't think they were going to die. They were rushed to hospital by air ambulance. But unfortunately, doctors said there's no way they would survive, and they soon passed away from their injuries. It was literally the next day that Wade's father was planning the funeral, an extremely unsettling time for their family. However, the situation doesn't end there. It gets worse. 18-year-old Liam Wood, a recent high school graduate, went to Watcombe Park that day to do some fishing. He was supposed to be home that night, cooking dinner for his family. His mother, Marlene Robinson, was frantically searching for him before hearing something disturbing on the radio.
Not having any clue of what was going on, just trying to find him. And then I got in the car and I drove down and tried to find his car. At one point I had to stop to get gasoline, and when I was in paying for it, the cashier behind the counter was listening to the radio, and I said, "Is there any news?" And he said, "Well, they found a body." And then I really started to panic, and I went home and I turned on the radio and they didn't mention it again, and I thought it must have been a mistake.
At midnight, the body found at Watcombe Park was identified. That night, police arrived at Marlene's house to tell her it was her son they found. The NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, determined the cause of the pipeline explosion to be inadequate quality assurance and quality control. Needless to say, The city was in uproar. This was unforgivable.